Hey everybody, this is Giancarlo Aulino reporting for the Game Plan at sportsboom.com, and I'm happy to be joined by my guest today who's going to be talking about his biopic, which releases in theaters this Friday. He is the Smashing Machine himself, UFC Hall of Famer, MarkKerr. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
And Mark, this biopic on your life, between a period of your life where you got some rocky roads there, a lot of
Mhm.
triumph and trials and tribulations. So, what was it like for you just being involved in the process and getting to know Dwayne Johnson as he portrayed you?
Um, Scary at first, because it's just one where, some of the stuff that went on during that pocket of, I call it a pocket of time, right? That pocket of time in my life. Um, it was scary to open that back up and to go out and go, okay, we're going to talk about all of this stuff, but to realize that there was just a trust factor that I had with Dwayne and Emily and Benny and the producers and A24 to bring this thing forward. It's been therapeutic, at the end of the day. It really has.
And yeah, you mentioned therapeutic there because this is a lot different period for you because at the time the documentary when it was being made, you were at that part, like at that point, living it like every day.
Oh
It's so
yeah, every
much
day in,
different.
day out. Yeah, much different. I mean, I'm so many years removed from it. I've been sober for a while now, and that in and of itself is a small miracle. And I'm just in a completely different spot where I actually can um, absorb it in a different way and look at it in a different way and realize that the importance of this is still important. It's still important to talk about the human condition and what you go through, and life's not easy.
Yeah, and I like how you brought it there. It's therapeutic because being on the other side of this now and reliving it again, like was it a little, I guess, nervous on your end if going back and opening this back up again, reliving all those feelings again, and seeing it being portrayed in a much bigger production?
Much. Um, you, it, it's a completely different time, like when we had initially talked about it, realizing like all the different social media things and all the different stuff, it's going to be viewed and consumed differently than the documentary originally was. Um, but understanding like through the process of all this, it's like another way to heal some of that stuff, another way to, have me look at it now and go, okay, I could take ownership of that behavior and responsibility for it. And, it's been therapeutic in how it's played out right now. It's just been really incredible because there's been so many beautiful moments during this.
And I saw the film. I loved it. I thought they did a great job with even sticking true to the documentary in terms of the
Yeah.
backstage
Yeah.
stuff and pride. So when you look back into like what Benny Safdie was able to do and just the authenticity, like how did that make you feel as for this accurate
Oh,
portrayal in your life?
proud, like just proud that the part where from the very beginning everybody involved knew that obviously I was alive, I was a real person, so they had this care and this reverence for everything they were doing because they knew I would be consuming it and watching it and looking at it. And so the realism, the authenticity of it, everything from what Dwayne was wearing and Emily and all the way across the board. I mean, it was this attention to detail that was just incredible. I mean, just had blown me away, with watches and rings and shirts and setting the environment up and building the house. And it was incredible. It was really, really incredible.
And I like how you mentioned that too, because a lot of biopics, that you see, they over dramatize some areas of the person's life to make it their own film. But your real life
Mhm.
story, you're alive, you're a part of this process. So did that make you feel like more of a gratifying experience to know that they're going to look at this and accurately portray it?
Yeah. I mean, they so. even little tiny spots that Benny took a little bit of liberty with, just because you don't want to make a 3 hour film.
Yeah.
You need to make a film to go into certain details about certain things. It just didn't make sense. So he talked to me about it. He goes, "Hey, during the scene, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this, this, and this. Here's why." And I go, the whole point of that was still to convey the essence or the feeling that was going on, but the accuracy had to be just expanded a little bit or contracted a little bit, and it was beautiful. Like when I watch it, I'm like, everything was on point to like the feelings that I had at the time and what was going on.
And when you're a part of these premieres, all these screenings, whether it's in Venice or even Toronto at the Toronto International Film Festival in the United States, like you're seeing the audience's real time reaction to this. So for you, what's it like seeing them, give standing ovations and knowing that that's your life story?
Yeah. Gosh, man, in Venice, it was very overwhelming. Very, because a lot of that, not knowing or understanding that like part of that was the validation that I needed, but I didn't know I needed it, and the feelings of like what Venice conveyed was incredible. And then watching it at Toronto Film Festival, that was totally different atmosphere, but it was this incredible vibe, that it just blows me away. Still to this day, it's hard for me to describe it because the feelings are just, I don't have language to describe like really how I'm feeling.
And also, like, this film is getting a lot of award buzz. Like, has it hit you that this could be something where your life story has contributed to maybe an Academy Award, maybe a Golden Globe, like all these awards? Like, has it hit you that?
Dwayne has to remind me that it's my life, man. He like I'll say something to him, and he'll say it just as flat. He'll go, "This is you. This is your life. This is you," and it has to remind me, because sometimes I want to act like it's a third person, like, this dude, Mark, I know, is getting this, but he goes, no, this is your story. And, it's just a perspective that sometimes is hard for me to settle in.
And also what I like about this is, the MMA pioneers are getting more appreciation. Like, I think in MMA, it's the pioneers of the sport, like your era, I don't think get appreciated enough. So do you think this will bring more fans into going back into the early years of MMA, whether it was in Pride or UFC, and start to, follow along with some of the legends?
I hope so. I hope it does, because a lot of what we went through is fighting one night and a promoter not paying you. Or getting paid half of what you should get paid, or doing something and, X, Y, and Z happened. And there's so much stuff back then that was so, because there's not a way to report it to get it out there, no social media platforms and stuff. So, hopefully they go back and look at it and understand foundationally, like there's these big periods of time where it was super important for that to happen in order for MMA to advance to where it is now.
Definitely. And just a final question here on that, the MMA pioneers. Like, I asked Boss this when I spoke to him, and he gave a unique answer to this, but curious to hear your thoughts on which fighters or fighters from that era that you were interacting with, maybe fought against. There was to be a biopic in the future. Like, who do you think would make for a great biopic?
It still goes back to where it's the origins, man. I really think a biopic about Royce and what he brought to it, and there's no denying, man. He's like one of my favorite people in general. And then as far as what he did, he opened everybody's eyes. That what they thought they knew about toughness, what they thought they knew about mixed martial arts, what they thought they knew about size and all this stuff. He opened my eyes going, whoa, like what the hell is he doing? So I think a biopic about him would be awesome.
And just I know you fought in the UFC. Like, a little after him, and then Final Pride. Did you get to meet him or like interact with him during that time?
So back then, like anytime that he was on at a competition, it was totally the Gracie way. They just stuck with a small little group that didn't really talk or socialize it with other people, this, that, and the other. But I had a chance to talk to him, probably 5, 6 years ago, and I left the conversation literally like just absolutely amazed at what type of human being he is. Just he's this incredibly giving, thoughtful, intuitive human being. And we had this just beautiful conversation. And it just blew me away because I never had that opportunity at a competition. He was so locked in and focused. It wasn't social. It was like, I'm doing something here. So, it was incredible.
That's great. And Mark, I really appreciate you sharing your time with me and talking all about this. I saw the film. I think a lot of people are going to be wowed when they see this, and you deserve all the recognition for this. And I wish you continued success.
Thanks, Giancarlo. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me.